Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Thorin Oakenshield action figure set by the Bridge Direct. This set is part of the first wave in the line of 4-inch scale action figures, based off of the upcoming Hobbit live-action film. This set was first released in October of 2012, and I found the set at Toys R Us, and it was selling for $10. Taking a look at the figure and the packaging here, it's very nicely done. Now, for a company, the Bridge Direct, that's never really produced action figures before, this is actually done quite well. Both the figure and the packaging here. You can see the packaging is very nice. You got the Hobbit logo there. That's very similar to the Lord of the Rings film logo. Very cool, and also the very nice card art behind that. Very well done by the Bridge Direct here. And also very well done are the figures. And you can see this 4-inch scale figure of Thorin. He does have 2 accessories, which is pretty cool. And one of them being a very big part in the storyline. And here we have the actor from the live-action film that portrays Thorin Oakenshield. And there's the nice, I guess, packaging design again. Very, very cool. Nicely done. And here we have the back of the card here. Again, very well done. Very nice and very fitting in the style. And we have here a description of the Hobbit in nice font there. We got a picture of the figure here, and a picture again of the actor that portrays Thorin, and a description of Thorin in the film and story. And down here we have other figures in the 4-inch line. We have Bilbo Baggins, Grinna the Goblin, Legolas Greenleaf, and Gandalf the Grey. And if you want to know more information about The Hobbit, the original book, and the upcoming film, take a look at this link here. And we have the Bridge Direct's logo there. And again, very well done, just based on first appearances by this Bridge Direct. Now, we'll be right back and have Thorin Oakenshield here out of the package. Okay, we're back, and we have Thorin Oakenshield out of the package, and I'm quite impressed with this figure, especially the line of figures, the 4-inch scale line, because it's actually quite nice. The quality, the paint, and the sculpt is actually quite nice. And coming from a company that is newer to action figures, they've done a very good job. But I found out through a little bit of research that the Bridge Direct is indeed new to the action figure hobby, but the folks behind the company are not entirely unfamiliar with action figures. After a little bit of research, I found out that some of the folks in the company were involved in the previous Lord of the Rings line produced by Toy Biz. So there is a bit of familiarity with this particular line of figures, and I'm quite glad for that, because the quality is actually carried through from the previous line. Now, taking a look at the items first that come included with Thorin Oakenshield, and we'll go ahead and get started with this here. This is the Dwarven Blade that comes included, and you can tell it's based on the Lord of the Rings style, the movie style, and the Hobbit style, that this is a Dwarven Blade. They're usually angular, straight-edged on their weapons, and you can tell that this is actually of Dwarven construction, at least the style. And this blade here is actually relatively straight, despite being quite soft on the materials used. You can see I'm bending it here, but ends up being straight, which is very nice. A lot of times with other companies, with accessories using this type of material that's often warped. This one's actually quite straight and very nice on there. And the figure does wield this dwarven blade quite well. And you can just stick it in, I believe, either hand. I've always stuck it on Thorin's right hand here, just based on the location of the sheath. If I can get it in between the fingers there, the finger and the thumb, you can see he holds it quite well. Pretty decent. I can get into focus there. There we go. And nice solid grip on the blade. And the blade also does go into this sheath here. And basically just slide it through, and it's got a nice tight fit on there, and not a problem there whatsoever. Pretty cool. Another accessory you could say is this here. This being Thorin's shield, which bears his name. A shield made of oak, you could say. And you can see it's got an elastic band wrapped around Thorin's arm there. And that was included in the packaging. It's basically just pegged in. You can see a peg right there. And then you can see a peg hole on the gauntlet there. And it just basically pegs in. But it will probably come loose with a little jostling. That's why they probably included the elastic band. And I plan to keep it there. But you can see some of the details of the shield, oak shield. You can see they added some metallic work onto this shield. It's probably something that Thorin carries. It probably has family value to it, much like the dwarven blade here, which bears his name, this shield here. And I'm sure they're going to explain it a little bit in the upcoming film, but it's kind of neat that they included this here. Pretty cool. And the last accessory here is the Elven Blade Orchest. Now, I don't know if this blade will bear the Orchest name in the upcoming film. Most Elven blades or weaponry have names to them, like Sting, obviously. Or, well, it wasn't Sting, Bilbo called it Sting, but most Elven blades did have a name, and this name was Orchest, and another blade, this was the companion blade, I should say, with another famous blade wielded by Gandalf. Glamdring, but it's not named in the Lord of the Rings movies, but so that's why I'm wondering if this will bear the Orchest name when it shows up in the film. I hope it does, and I hope Glamdring is also mentioned on there. But you can see the blade just pops out the elven sheath, and you can see some of the details on the sheath there. A little plain on there, but it does have some sculpted detail here right at the tip, which is pretty cool. But taking a look at the blade itself, again, it's relatively straight and made of that soft rubbery type material. And you can look at the details on the blade. You can see the etching on the side of the blade, which is kind of nice. Rather plain handle there, and still pretty cool. And it's got that elvish style, at least movie style, with lots of curves to their weaponry. I guess a sign of elegance in the elven craftsmanship there. And you can see that Thorin does wield Orchest pretty well as well. And let me see if I can stick it in the other hand here. Yeah, the figure does have a solid grip on the other hand as well. So no problems wielding the weapons for these 4-inch scale of figures. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Thorin himself. And this, like I said, is a very nicely done figure, especially from a company that's new to these figures. And let's go ahead and do a size comparison before we actually take a look at details of Thorin here. And Thorin is a dwarf, but I believe he's a taller dwarf. And we're going to do a size comparison of another 4-inch scale figure that I happen to have is a Star Wars clone trooper, just for size comparisons. And you can see that Thorin is almost as tall as the clone trooper. And again, I believe that Thorin's going to be a taller dwarf in the film. So not too bad compared to Star Wars or a similar 4-inch scale figure, which is pretty cool. Now, taking a look at some of the details of Thorin here, and this figure's got a lot of details actually, and it's actually quite nice. You can see, starting off with the head, the face of Thorin is very nicely done. The eyes are painted very nicely, nothing too shifty to the left or the right. It's very nicely done. You can see the beard sculpted and painted there. Very nice. The paint overall is actually very good. I really can't see too much bleed for anywhere. It's actually done very nicely. And taking a look at the hair here, you can see all of the details in the sculpt of the hair. Very good. You can even see some metal work tied into his hair, which is pretty cool. And you can also see paint, streaks of gray painted throughout, which is very nice. Pretty cool. Now the tips of the hair are made of a softer plastic. You can bend it here and there, and a little bit more rigid plastic than the blade, but it's still movable and doesn't really impede articulation too much when you turn the head. So that's kind of nice. So it's very nicely done. Moving down to the torso here, you can see Thorin has some scale mail type of armor underneath this, I guess, cloth jerkin, like I guess overpiece you could call it, which is nice. And this cloth overpiece is made of a rubberized material and is actually, I can't tell if it's, I think it's a separate part of the torso. It certainly feels like it. It doesn't feel like all one sculpted piece. It feels like it's actually over another piece of plastic, and you can see it's kind of brown underneath there. So that's kind of cool how that's nice. Is not part of the sculpt. It's actually over an inner torso. And on the sleeves or on the arms, you can see the metallic work of scale mail there. It's actually kind of neat. And just lots of details. And taking a look at the cloth again, or at least simulated cloth, you can see patterns in there. It's actually quite nice. Now what is sculpted is onto the cloth piece is this belt, where you can actually place Orcus. It's more like a sling, and you can see a peg hole there, and you can place Orcus there behind his back if you wanted to, which is nice on there. But nicely sculpted there on that strap, and it's pretty cool. And you can see some detail here on the belt. Very cool. That's part of the sculpt of this plastic here. And on the lower arms there, you can see some more detail here in blue, which is very cool, and that's part of the sculpt of the straps and on the forearms, on the gauntlets, which is actually quite nice. And you can see some fingerless gloves that he wears. Very cool on there. Just really nicely done. Now underneath this cloth tunic thing is are the legs on the leggings, and you can see it's the cloth is split here to increase the range of articulation, the freedom of movement. So that's kind of nice. Both on the side and the front on there. But looking at more detail in the legs, it's looks like typical leggings on there, and not too bad. And also some sculpted detail on the boots. Looks like some fur type lined boots on there with some straps. Unfortunately no paint detail on there. would have been nice to have some painted detail on those straps, but they do paint a buckle there on the inner leg, which is very nice, very cool. One thing I noticed with this particular figure, in the pictures on the packaging and also on the 6-inch scale figure, Thorin wears I guess a fur wrapping around his shoulders on the mantle, and this figure does not have that. I don't know if the other 4-inch figure has that or not. There's another 4-inch Thorin figure that comes included in another set. I have to look at that to see if it includes it. But the single pack version of Thorin does not have that overwrapping along the shoulders, which is unfortunate. Now, going over articulation, which is pretty impressive again, not just in the sculpt, but in the articulation as well. It compares relatively well with a Star Wars figure or a G.I. Joe figure, and which is very nicely done. They could have wussed out like some of the smaller companies that produce 4-inch figures, but this one is actually done rather well. And going over that articulation, the head is on a ball joint, and it can go all the way around. Well, you can practically pull it off the body there. You can see the ball joint there, and but it does go all the way around. But the hair does push up the head if you turn it around too much. But the head barely goes up and down though, which is unfortunate. The arms do go all the way around at the shoulder. You have to work at it a little bit because of the overhang of the cloth tunic there. And the arms do go out and in. And no bicep swivel, but there is a swivel at the elbow. You can get the arm all the way around at the elbow, as well as a hinge so you can bend the arm up and down. The hands are on a swivel cut, so you can swing the hands all the way around at the wrist area. I don't believe there is a torso crunch on the articulation, but there is waist articulation. Allows you to move the torso all the way around, even though you can't see it, mainly due to the cloth tunic, but underneath it does go all the way around. Now the legs are joined at the hip with a hinged swivel joint, not a ball joint, but just a hinge swivel. So you can move the leg up and down and back, as well as out to the side, and the entire leg spins around at the hip joint there. I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah, it can go all the way around that way. And the knees do bend back a bit, as well as all the way around. And unfortunately, no ankle articulation, not even a simple swivel cut. That's one thing that is unfortunately missing with this figure. That would have been nice to have on there. I don't think I have the leg turned all the way around there. There we go. But still decently articulated, if not for the lack of an ankle articulation. But overall, a great figure in the detail, the paint, the quality. And like I said, very impressed with the Bridge Direct, and it's just a great start, especially for the Hobbit line. This is my casual peek into the Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey Thorin Oakenshield action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.